What's up, babes? We got another chapter. Chapter 1150. Is it 7? 58. We're creeping to 12 hundo. I'm reading EPO and I'm on chapter like 1400, and it's kind of insane because there's an end in sight with One Piece, but not with that. But that's not why we're here. I also moved, like I said. Shelves have kind of been changed up, so there's only one shelf right here. We got, Zelda, Naruto, some other stuff. There's a hippo right there, as you can see. Posters here, which is nice. I was like, I didn't even think about where the cam's at. We also got posters here, but you guys aren't going to see that. Anyway, to the chapter. So I was looking at this beginning one talking about the Inari Shrine Pilgrimage, right? Volume 40, which I'm sick of. Yamato, we get it, whatever. You're not a straw hat. I don't dislike you, but I'm all right. Here lies the Pirate of Justice, Kazuki Moria. We know that Moria has all this history in Wano, so it's kind of crazy seeing that. And I looked it up because I was like, am I just being dumb here? I looked it up, and everybody's doing all these theories already on Moria being part of Odin's clan, which, I mean, it seems like we have a decent amount of evidence for that to be a claim, but where else he fits is kind of crazy. Like, was he carrying that? Is he like an honorary member because he was the rival of Kaido? I don't know. Or is that just somebody else's name? Is it a mistranslation? I don't know. There's more there that I don't truly understand, but the chapter was interesting enough where I'm not going to be fixated on it. I'll have to think about that and get back to you. No break next week, which is excellent, but getting into the chapter, it's funny because once again, we're getting more personality out of Roger, which I really like, just because I don't feel like... I mean, he definitely had some, but it's cool to see the whole backstory of him all this time ago. And Rayleigh received a love letter. Shaky. Shakuyaku is in love, or at least admires Mr. Rayleigh himself, with shoutouts. I mean, to be the stud of the century is pretty nuts. But Roger refuses to accept this. He's going to go chase after her. And we get a nice interaction between Rox and Roger before, obviously, their fight. But it's interesting because Garland is then shown, and he says a couple things that are of a lot of import, I think. First of all, he just had his 2 kids, which is going to be at the very end of this. And not only does God Valley have an abundance of resources, but he made what he calls an outrageous discovery. Is it the treasure that they're fighting over? I think so. I think he's really excited for that hunt. He's somebody that believes himself to be invincible, and as far as I've seen, minus the scar on his face, which I'm sure, knowing his even still cocky attitude, he thinks was a fluke. Who gave that to him? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But he says in 2 years' time, I strongly urge that we have the hunt there. Now, in 2 years, 37 years ago, why 2 years? I don't know. I don't. I mean, his kids are born. By that point, they'll be 2. I'll get to the fact that Rox conceived, or at least consummated, to create Blackbeard, and Blackbeard is around. I forgot how young Shanks is and Blackbeard. I guess neither one, or they're barely 40 years old, not even 39. I thought they were both 40, but I mean, according to this, that's not the case. But that's all we get of them. It's interesting to see because it's not just because of the abundance. The Gorosei, or the world government, are pieces of shit because they do these hunts, which is interesting for a holy knight like Garland, who's so full of himself and very strong. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, I would say that he's probably even still stronger than Shamrock. I think Shamrock's more in his prime now, but we have not seen enough of Garland. Plus, they have to really build him up, because the problem with the Gorosei, and I mean, we enjoy the Gorosei. I wouldn't say we love the Gorosei. There's just not a lot behind them. They're kind of motivationless villains, and they're fun, and I like their powers. I understand that they're extensions and puppets of the real puppet master, Imu Sama, who is a girl, like I've said before. But we don't care too much about them. I think caring more about Garland and interweaving him into all these past characters that we really care about will be an interesting way, fun way to really care about the fight that's eventually going to happen with him. With who? I don't know, but it'll be interesting. We get a situation here where, like I said, I mean, I think that this talks about Blackbeard more than anything, and it's that Rox Shaky's like, you seem to be caring about somebody that's no longer me. And he's like, it's none of your business. And he's clearly getting in a way that, like, it is about a girl. Even names, bruh. Names. Even, fuck. She was on Whole Cake at the wedding. She was in, Stussy. Even Stussy is like, it's got to be a woman with that grin. And I love Whitebeard in this situation because he's just had enough. Roger busts down the door and is like, what's up? He's like, it's time. Him and Rox clearly have a feud between each other, as we've seen. And it's just funny because, I mean, Roger's a dick. Like, I mean, Rox is obviously a dick too. They don't give a shit about nobody. But he's just like, wasn't there a huge line out there? He's like, I didn't notice one. Just beats the shit out of everybody who was involved in the line. Of course, they're pirates, so who really cares? But it's just funny to see Whitebeard leaving. He's like, I can't stand these guys. They're so noisy. But then later down the line, that's like the biggest rivalry. We're just in a time period where that's not the case quite yet. Roger and Shaky have an interaction where she's like, I'm just not interested. She's like, where is Rayleigh? Like, I want nothing to do with you. I'm here for Rayleigh, and I told Rayleigh to come get me. So where is he? And he's just like, oh, he's not feeling well. Which I'm thinking, I'm like, did Roger just beat his ass? Or is he actually not feeling well? I'm like, did he just be like, no, dude, you're not coming. And if you're coming, we're going to have to swing on it. And I'll be whooping that ass. Because everybody else is there. And I don't know. I just don't feel like he's maybe not feeling good. Or maybe he didn't want to approach. He's a shy guy, and that's maybe why Shaky likes him. Gloriosa comes out of nowhere and is like, hey, what about me? He's like, bitch, I do not fuck with you. He literally just does not. He doesn't care. He's not interested. Not interested at all. And as far as we know, Ace's mom is some random lady. It's just some lady on some island. I think the island was named, but we don't see that. And we probably won't see that for a little bit. If ever. I mean, they don't even really need to show her. All we know is that Shaky is not into Roger. It looks like she goes on to the Oro Jackson and visits with Rayleigh and says, hey, we're delivering. And then she faints. I think maybe she's just thinking that. It's tough to tell. But she's clearly in love with him. Safe passage is promised to anybody who goes to her, but out on the seas, it's fair game that they're going at it. Speaking of which, Rox and Harald are going at it. Harald didn't even hesitate. I think in the last video, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, they're buddies. He seems to be above that. Like, he's not going to get pushed around. Doesn't give a shit. He's like, no, I'm getting in there. Like, fuck this dude. And it's interesting, too, because all these people complaining, like, the Giants actually attacked our country a little while ago. Sorry, fear like that doesn't fade. I'm like, Dory and Broggy are just having a good time. I'm like, you assholes, you ruined this for the big man. But it's just funny to see. He is saying that you're being a coward. And I see both sides of this here. I do. I know Harald really doesn't see Rox's point of view. And he's just like, you can't take on the whole fucking system. Like, if you can't beat him, you join him. And Rox is like, quit being a little bitch. Like, what are you talking about? So I obviously side more with Rox in this situation. And I think seeing his overwhelming strength, I mean, the fact that these guys are even able to compete like this, Harald has to be an animal. I mean, he's beating, I want to say everybody on Rox's crew at this moment. They're not in their primes for sure, but in this moment, I think that they're getting tossed around because Rox is that guy and he's beaten all of them. He's beaten all of them. He's stronger than all of them. Whether he beat them directly, I would say that he probably did with most of these guys. It's tough to say with the Davy back fight. It's tough to say, but I would say that he's stronger than all of them. Nice, cute little interaction here with Loki, which, believe it or not, that's kind of where the perspective is from, which is why we keep seeing him. But he's all pissed. And he's like, Loki's not, like, he's not coming back. Rox is not coming back. He's like, shut up. He's like, would you like juice? Yeah, I want juice. So I don't know why Loki's bitching so much nowadays. He's clearly loved and cherished, so it's like, relax. 39 years old. We know that Shanks and Shamrock are only 39. We know that this girl that he slept with is, you know, they're not full Celestials. Obviously, he's a Holy Knight, so he gets privilege, but she's just some red-haired lady. Or blue. I guess it's tough to tell. Was Shamrock? No, red. Excuse me. Red-haired lady. And what's the treasure that in 2 years will be important? I don't know. I don't know what that is. I think as far as we know, Shanks doesn't have a fruit. Shamrock's sword has a fruit. So I think that all of us thinking that it's fruits is probably not accurate. But there is something important here. And I think Roger, whatever it is, it culminates into Shanks and Shamrock, and whatever it is, Roger broke the news to Shanks because he's going to be too young to even remember or know what that situation is. Do I think it has something to do with the mother? I do. I don't know exactly what, though. I know that Garland's a piece of shit. A piece of shit. So he's going to be doing something awful to make us really hate him so that we can see a clash between probably, I guess, him and Shanks. Something that we care about at the end, just because Shanks really isn't a bad guy, and I think Shamrock just about confirms that. Even in their two pictures of their little baby hands chilling, you can tell Shamrock's out here plotting and Shanks is a happy baby. But I think that he had to live a life that was not necessarily super happy, and was sad, and he had to fight through that. I don't know what the treasure is, but I know that Blackbeard's being born very soon if he hasn't already. He is around the same age as Shanks and Shamrock. And the treasure in 2 years' time. I just don't understand the timeline there. That's what I don't understand. But questions are still being raised by Oda. I don't know how much deeper we're going to get into this flashback. I hope that we at least touch the tip of God's Valley, but I don't know if we will. I don't think we're going to see that treasure at the very least in this flashback. I just don't think we're that lucky. But I think that we'll see something. Start to maybe round a corner. But I think Oda's gotten so good at continuously asking us questions that he's going to keep doing it until he runs out of answers. At least I hope. But in Oda we trust. That's all I got. Good chapter. No break next week, so I'm excited to get into it next week as well. You guys take care. I hope you enjoy the new view, and I'll see you next week.